Okay, and then around the pits, you have nothing but these grotesque demon reptilian or reptile-like things, making sure they don't crawl out. It was horrible. You have people who look like bone. I would say they look like bones. Some of them were bones, but actually flesh hanging off, which is incomprehensible to some people to even imagine how, but the things that I saw in the tortures that I saw is that you regenerate. So just say if your arm falls off, it'll grow right back so you can get tortured again. It's a place of pure torture, like torture. Hell is it's no relief. There's nothing. But as I'm looking at this one demon, he was about 8 feet tall. He looked at me and laughed. And then all I remember was these thousands of maggots, worms, and they're like thick. They're thick. They're thick as soda cans. Okay, they're not like regular maggots here in this dimension. They are thick and they're big, and they started to chew at my feet. And then once it was a few of them, when I looked down, it was hundreds of them. They started to make a mound around me, up to my knees, of these demonic maggots. I don't even know how to explain it. But that was the least of my worries, because I felt getting a hand picked me up from the back of my head, and it flung me. It flew. Now, as I flew, okay. Now remember, you have no energy. There's no nothing. Even just when I laid down, I couldn't get back up. But now I'm realizing, in hindsight, that the Lord was with me, because a lot of these demons, they wanted to attack me. They wanted to rip me apart, and I could just feel the hatred that they have for mankind, the hatred that they have for us. It is beyond anything. It is beyond, and you can feel it's ancient, and you can feel it is powerful. It is power in their hate. It is so powerful. Yeah. All right, 1 second. Okay, because people don't understand that these demons feed off our depression. They feed off our anxiety. They feed off our aggression. They feed off our hate. They just feed off of us. So that's why they call us in the background. They don't have the power to make us do it, but they have the power to influence situations that make us do these things. And they feed off that. And that's one thing I've learned. The hatred for us. That's why I love all mankind. Because the hatred they have for us, it would make you love all mankind and stick together against these beings. Really. We have, all the visions that are caused are just an illusions. But yeah, that's one thing. That's what I learned from that. But as I was laying on the ground, I'm sorry, I just had to just reiterate that point. But as I'm laying and I can't get up, and the thing is, in reality, I wasn't breathing, because there's no oxygen down there. I think it was more mental, psychological, because I was so used to being in the physical. So I'm trying to breathe, and I'm realizing. So I'm barely standing up, and that's when I think the Lord showed me it was the whole hell of this section, because hell has sections. I'm going to explain that soon. It has many sections. It was illuminated for me where I can just see everything. And when I tell you, the tortures, wow, I mean, it is beyond the stretch of your imagination. And people say, why would God let that happen to us? Why did God send you there? Why did they blame God? But they never blamed the enemy for anything when they were here on this earth. But one thing that I noticed, when you're in hell and when you're internally in a spirit body, you can look at a person inside hell and you know why they're there. You instantaneously know, you know why that person is there. I've seen people there for unforgiveness. I've seen people there who thought they were the best in the church, saying, why did you do this to me? I've seen pastors there. I've seen even some preteens in hell. I've seen a lot of people who think they're doing the right thing, but they're no. Like, for example, the first lady who I saw getting tortured individually, not the people in the pits. There were 2 demons, and they were laughing, these reptile things, and they had her mouth, and they stretched her mouth so far back, like to rip her jaw open, and they were pouring lava down her throat and sticking her throat with spears and just like these old ancient looking lusty daggers, and they were getting a kick, and it was horrible. But then the fact is, she turned to bone, she was breaking up, and then she would rejuvenate, and they would do it all over again and over again and over. And they were taking turns, they were inviting other demonic spirits, they were laughing, they were having fun torturing this lady. And when I looked, and I really knew, this has to be the Lord, I already knew why she was there. She was there because not only was she a gossiper, she was gossiping about people. She got many people wife turned because of her tongue, and she was an alcoholic. And I'm starting to, there was a theme in hell I started to notice, because people commit a lot of sins on a wide spectrum. But the one that sticks out the most is the one that's going to rectify, that you're going to get inside hell. So let's say, a person who's promiscuous, and that's another one. I'm going to keep it not explicit, but I saw a young lady in hell. There were demons literally taking turns having sex with this one. And then when I say it's not regular sexual intercourse, it was beyond mine. I mean, I can't say too much to describe, but all I can say is that she was very promiscuous when she was here on this earth, and they were torturing her in ways that you can't even imagine. So, yeah, I was just saying the biggest sins that I started noticing that pattern. The biggest sins that you have, because like I said, everybody sins on different spectrums and think it's nothing. It doesn't. No, everything counts. Everything counts. And it's not God, our Father, up there taking a list of you. It also says in the Bible that the flesh will testify against itself. So, people, that is real. Your flesh testifies against you. Your flesh, your desires. That's why he always tells us to get away from pleasing our own flesh, because we're going to put ourselves there. The Lord cries, the Lord heart aches for us, every one of us that go to hell. He does not want that. He does not want that for us at all. It really tears him apart to see us in that predicament. But this back to the tortures, unfortunately. That was only one section. And I thought, and that's mind-blowing. That was only one section with the pits. So I thought that, no. And I think the Lord was with me. I don't know if anybody ever had a dream before where you couldn't see the person's face, but you know somebody was there standing with you. I know the Lord was with me, but I never saw him. But I knew he was the one directing me and protecting me, because these things wanted to eat me and tear me apart. But the second thing I remember is another section of hell. And that's another thing. When you move in hell, there's no really walking around where he's showing you. It was like you instantaneous. It's like teleportation. When I teleported to this other part of hell, okay, I saw these cells. Okay, and I grew up in skyscrapers, uptown Chicago. Grew up on the 16th floor. And these things were taller than that. These things had to be 50 stories tall, and there was a row of them all the way as your eyes can see looking up. And they're open old bar cells, and there are people in them. There are people in them. Some of them look like skeletons. Some of them were just burned like to a crisp, and they're cursing God, and they were just very angry. They're very angry to be there. There was no repentance. There was no asking for another chance. Those are the ones who were just very angry at our Lord. They were very angry. Some even started looking like almost a reptilian look because of the hatred coming out of them. And also I noticed some of them been there for thousands of years. See, that's the thing. People don't understand. Time doesn't exist in eternity. It doesn't. The clock stops. And I realized that. I saw people there who were there 2,000 years, 4,000, and you just know the ancientness of it. I saw all different languages. It doesn't discriminate. The devil doesn't discriminate at all. The whole end point is to get you there. That's it. So all of this, while we're messing around with racism, we're messing around with judging others off economic status, which is just an illusion, by the way. It's about spiritual currency. It's an illusion, and it's a trap to get us there. And when I saw those cells, that's when things started to awaken to me. I saw mostly those who were in those cells were people who dabbled in witchcraft, those who dabbled in Santeria, those who dabbled in all kind of tarot cards, those who wanted to know the future, and astrology. I just know, like I told you, once you go there, you know. You can just look at a person and you know while they're there. And mostly I saw there was a thing to those people in those cells, and those are the people who worship other gods or the doctrines of demons, what they call also in the scriptures. And what's so terrifying about that is that here, because I have my brush with Santeria, unfortunately growing up, and they promise you everything materialistically, but what they don't tell you is once you worship these demons, now that I know they are, I didn't know that before, they make it seem like they're positive, they're good, they're here to help mankind. The 9 principalities, and they'll give you all the wealth you want. You do these rituals and stuff, but you don't realize you owe them. And what you owe them is beyond this earth. You're going to have a spot. They have a spot waiting for you. It reminds me of people who say, well, I didn't know the law. I didn't know. But if you go to court, you will still go to jail. Ignorance is not a way out of it. You all. So I'm just telling you, watch what you do. Watch what you confer, because psychics and all of these mediums and things of that nature, of course they're going to tell you things that are right on purpose, because they call it familiar spirits, which I saw them ascending and descending from hell. But I would get to that too. But just be careful, you all, playing with witchcraft, any astrology, anything of that nature, because they have a place just in hell for you. And also the Lord told me that this place grows every day. Actually, it's growing by the second. It's like hell is alive. It is a place that it is a dimension that is alive. You can even feel it. The ground of hell, it moves in waves. It's like a wave. You can feel it under your feet. It's as if, it's like kind of like breathing, but I wouldn't consider it breathing. But it just had a component the same way the darkness has. It was alive. It is alive. That place is alive. But as I'm looking at the cells, all of a sudden I feel again. Now this time I'm standing on the cliff, and I'm looking down, and it looks like a gray area, and it's like dead trees. It's just like a abandoned forest, a dead forest, but it had a path on it, and on the path